Morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Tea with Tiffany. I'm coming to you live from, where am I? Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. I'll be here for the weekend. My daughter is playing in a softball tournament here. Um, so, um, yeah, I'm coming to you live from my hotel room. Um, every morning we start with our morning prayer. So let me go ahead and start with that, and then we will um, continue our discussion of reflections of a man. Let us pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for waking me up today, that I'm able to see the light of yours. Help me, my family, and my friends to prepare for this day with love, peace, happiness, and good health. In Jesus' name, amen. How you guys doing this morning? Again, I'm doing this from my computer rather than my cell phone because my book is on my phone. So I need you to tell me. Sorry, I need you to tell me when you're here. Tell me who's on. Just say good morning. I'm here. All right. So, hey Andy, good morning. Um, Couple of announcements. I always do this a week before I get ready to do my class. So just a reminder to everybody that my homebuyer education class is on Tuesday, July 7th from 7 to 9 p.m. Go to Eventbrite and sign up. I'll also post it in the newsfeed today. If you have questions in regards to housing counseling, mortgage banking, homebuyer education, um, personal professional development, please reach out to me, 804-505-0887. You can email me at tmyint@tsmmtgpros.com, or go ahead and visit my website, www.tsmmortgageprofessionals.com. Check out the services that I offer. I'm happy to talk to you about a career in mortgage banking or anything else that you want to talk about with regard to your career, professional, or personal development. All right, so that is my announcement for this morning. And let's get into our book. All right, so we left off on page 21. And let me go ahead and read what it says. This is an interesting one this morning. And one of these days, I want to get my husband on here so that we can kind of talk about some of these things. Tried to get him on this morning, but he it was too early. All right, so um, let me read what it says here. Sometimes, okay, the title of this is His Fear of Being Hurt. That's today's title, or the title of this section. And what it says is sometimes the problem isn't that he cannot give you love. The problem lies in his inability to let go of the fear of being hurt long enough to accept your love. Think about this for a moment. When you give love, you control how you feel about it. When you're on the receiving end of love, those emotions are much harder to control. That's how you find yourself falling in love with someone without ever intending to do so. For some men, not all, but for some men, they're fine as long as they're giving the love. That's because they control that feeling. However, when you start to give it back and he begins to feel like he is losing that control, sometimes he will back away out of fear of being hurt. Not because he doesn't care for you, but because the feeling of being vulnerable and not in control of his feelings scares him. What do you guys think about that? What do you think? I, I personally think this is a true statement. I really do. I think that by nature, and again, this is just my opinion, everyone is entitled to their own, okay? No judgment here. And remember, I am not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a therapist, or any of that. So these are just my opinions. Okay, I don't proclaim to know or to be, the love doctor. We're on here just talking about this book and sharing how we feel about some of these things that Mr. Amari Soul is saying to us. So from his perspective, his perspective, he feels that when a man is giving love to a woman, okay, Andy says she's not sure. Um, when a man is giving love to a woman, okay, let's just do this scenario here and tell me what you think, because I think this comes from a place of not a couple or a relationship that is necessarily already established and the love has already been established. I think this comes from a place of when you're in a new relationship, okay, and you're not automatically in love with someone in the very beginning of a relationship, okay. There's a physical attraction, maybe a sexual chemistry between you. And sometimes people can get confused between love and lust. We all know that, right? So this is coming from a place of a very new relationship. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. You are in a brand new relationship. Okay, you guys are having fun, you're enjoying yourselves, enjoying the company, the intimacy is great, wonderful. Relationship is new, you're in la la land, okay. um you're having a good time, you're enjoying each other's company. Then all of a sudden, okay, and the male, because I want to explain this the way I think the author is speaking to it. The male has pretty much, you know, knocked you off your feet, right? You're feeling really good about the relationship. I feel like for women, it's easy for us to handle that type of emotion, and when the love bug strikes, or bites, it's a little easier for us to manage those emotions. Sometimes not, but many times it is. But for a guy, think about it this way. For a guy who starts to fall in love, what happens with them? Immediately, I feel most men, or some, I don't know, start to pull back a little bit. Like, I'm not sure I understand what these feelings are, right? And so, and they don't know where they want to go with it because their intentions in the very beginning were more so of, I just want to have fun. I just want, I, I don't know that I was planning to have these feelings, so all of a sudden, you know, certain things that didn't matter to you before now matter to you. You want to spend more time with this person. You are anxious to see this person. You are your feelings start to get involved. So things that normally wouldn't bother you are starting to bother you in the relationship is because of those emotions, because of those feelings, you know? And you don't necessarily like how that's making you feel because you are losing control of your emotions. You're thinking to yourself, why the heck am I feeling this way? Like, why am I all in my feelings right now, in this relationship? I've never felt this way ever before. Um, hey, good morning. I see Andy saying hi, India, but I don't see India on the line. I don't see you, India, but hi, good morning. Thanks for joining this morning. Um, so tell me how you feel. India, if you are engaging, I can't see your comments. So somebody please tell me. I see Dee Dee is here. Um, if you're typing something, India, I can't see your comments. So somebody please, share with me if India's talking. I don't know why I can't see your comments. Are you a member of Mint in the Making, India? Maybe that's why. Um, Make sure you join um, if you're not a member. Maybe that's why I can't see your comments. Um, so so where I'm going with this is maybe that is a true statement. Maybe they do have, because they haven't felt this way before, and they're generally, they didn't plan to come into this relationship feeling like they're feeling. It might be unfamiliar, and they don't know how to handle or control those feelings, kind of like falling too quick, too fast. And it can get crazy, it can get crazy. I know someone in my life who I think this happened to, and for the sake of privacy, I don't want to, you know, um, share too much about the relationship that I have with this person. But I remember helping someone deal with this type of situation. Um, and here's where it went. It was like initially, what it was is I always looked at this person as being, a really strong individual, hard, tough exterior. And then when he got into this relationship with someone, he was all mushy. It was really, it was it was kind of crazy. Not crazy is not the word, but it was just different seeing, this person who had this really tough exterior on the outside share his feelings about how he was feeling about this woman. And so, and I remember him saying to me, like, I really don't know why I'm feeling this way, or, you know, why some of these things were happening. The relationship ended up going sour, and it was on both sides of the situation. But I remember him saying to me, like, I have feelings that I've never had before, and I'm acting certain ways and doing certain things that I've never done before, and I don't understand it. And that's why I kind of feel, because of that particular situation, I kind of feel like this might have some truth to it. So for those Hey, Dee Dee. For those who, oh, Sandra's on too. Sandra's on too. Good morning, Sandra. Um, for those who are just joining us, I'm going to read this excerpt again from the book, Reflections of a Man. And I want you guys to comment on it. I really do before we move on to the next one. So here's what it says for those of you who just joined. Sometimes the problem isn't that he cannot give you love. The problem lies in his inability to let go of the fear of being hurt long enough to accept your love. All right, think about this for a moment. When you give love, you control how you feel about it. When you're on the receiving end of love, those emotions are much harder to control. That's how you find yourself falling in love with someone without ever intending to do so. For some men, they're fine as long as they're giving love. That's because they control that feeling. However, when you start to give it back and he begins to feel like he is losing that control, sometimes he will back away out of fear of being hurt. Not because he doesn't care for you, but because the feeling of being vulnerable and not in control of his feelings scares him. So, for those of you who just joined, I want to know, how you feel about that. Because I think that's a very true statement. I think that's a very true statement. Women, not so much. I don't think we fear falling in love. I think that we that's how we want to feel. You know, we want to feel loved and we want to give love. Most of us, there are exceptions to every circumstance. And so, and we give love so openly, and our expectation is for it to be reciprocated. So, because of that, we are ready and willing to receive that love. But a man, maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. I don't know. That's my feeling. That's my thought. Let me see if I see any comments. Hold on. Okay. Uh, oh, Sandra says, all very true. Give us some more, Sandra. Tell me why you think it's true. Tell me why you think it's true. Um, okay, I'm going to go on to the next one. I gave you guys what I feel about this statement. You let me know. All right, so here's the next one. Selfish versus selfless. Okay, we've had these conversations many times in my lives about um, a selfish kind of love versus a selfless kind of love, and we even asked, I've asked you to, tell me, what kind of love, are you giving? Is it a selfish love? Whereas, you're thinking about your feelings in the relationship, or is it a selfless love where you're more thinking about the other person? That's where I go with it. Let's see what Mr. Imari says. um oh, okay, so there's notes on reflection here. A selfish man would rather you be unhappy with him than to see you happy with someone else. However, a man who loves you selflessly, okay, he'll set you free, not in hopes that you would someday come back, but in hopes you would be found by a man that could be all the things that he couldn't be. What do you guys think about that? Let me read it again. A selfish man would rather you be unhappy with him than to see you happy with someone else. However, a man who loves you selflessly, he'll set you free, not in hopes that you would someday come back, but in hopes you would be found by a man that could be all the things that he couldn't be. So, hence the words, in a breakup, I hope you find happiness. I hope you find happiness. When someone says that, do they really mean it when they say that? Or is that, sarcasm? What do you think? Maybe, maybe not. I think about myself in a situation. Andy says, I agree. What do you agree with? That a selfish man would rather you be unhappy with him than to see you happy. I would agree with that too. If you're a selfish person and you love selfishly, right? So you love for yourself, so you want that person to be with you and no one else. So if I can't have you, no one else can, right? Regardless of whether we're miserable in the relationship or not, right? Um, if I can't have you, then no one can. We see Lifetime movies about that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Something just happened. We're on a I told you we're in a hotel. We're in Pennsylvania. And well, oh my gosh. We're sleeping on the pull-out couch because my daughter and her best friend, they both play on the same team, and we gave them the bedroom since they've got to play later this afternoon. We wanted them to get a good night's sleep. And so Matt and I are sitting on the pull-out bed in the living room, and it was sinking on us. I don't know what the deal was, but anyway, sorry guys. Holy cow. Oh, I did. Okay, Andy says, the saying, if I can't have you, nobody can. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. All right, so I think we all agree that you know, that's probably a true statement. Again, guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the whole, me falling in between the sofa. Jeez, that's comical. Okay, so let's move on to chapter 2. Earthquake, I know, right? Let's move on to chapter 2. The wrong man. He could be a good man and still not be the right man for you. Okay. All right. So let's talk about that for a moment. Let's see what he's got to say. All right. How could someone so right be so wrong? Is the title of this section. Okay. He could have the right face, the right smile, with the right job, making the right amount of money. But if he doesn't love and respect you, he's still the wrong man for you. Let's read on. Let me make sure let's see if there's any comments. Let's read on. All right. Make sure when you decide to give a man your time, you're doing it for the right reasons. Just because he looks nice or drives a nice car doesn't mean anything if he disrespects you and treats you like you don't even exist. You have to be able to look past the superficial things and focus on who he is rather than what he is or what he has. Otherwise, you might find yourself with a handsome man who is never home and a full closet, but an empty place in your heart where his love should be. Agreed. Anybody watch the movie Waiting to Exhale? you watch that movie? I think that movie speaks to that 100%. And there are other movies that are out there that speak to that. But what he's saying is true. What he's saying is true because it's not always about the look or the appearance of someone, or what they can provide for you financially, but it's about someone showing you love and respect and caring for you, understanding your emotions and where you are in your life, from an emotional standpoint, being sensitive to your feelings, your ideas, supporting you and the things that you want to do in life, and and really putting you in the forefront, making you the important person outside of everything else. That's what we all want in a relationship, I think. Andy says, this was my dance partner years ago. He was handsome, funny, a great dancer, had a good job. I wanted a relationship, but he didn't like me as a girlfriend, just as a best friend and a dance partner. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be. Oh, she says she loves the movie Waiting to Exhale. But I mean, that's what, at least in that relationship, Andy, he didn't take advantage of the fact that you had feelings for him. He kept you in the friend zone, I'm thinking, um, because of that, because he didn't have the same feeling, which is a good thing. There are some men out there who would, take the fact that you were vulnerable because you felt a certain way about them, that they would take advantage of that and just take what they could take from you and keep it moving. In fact, there are lots of people who are out there like that. And it's not just men. Women can be that way too, but we mainly see it in men. Um, Dee Dee says, I don't know too many men willing to do that, set you free to find love somewhere else. I mean, I would agree with that too. I think we all love selfishly, you know. Um and we don't we don't say, okay, have a nice life, I hope you're happy. The mature ones do. The ones who understand that they can't provide you what it is that you're looking for. I think there are men out there, maybe not too many, like you said, Dee, but I think there are men out there who would say, you know, clearly this is not working and I don't want to hurt you. I know you don't want to hurt me. Um, let's just part ways. I think that happens more when you've been in a marriage, right? And you've shared feelings and you get a divorce and you have an amicable um, divorce. Maybe there's children involved, but still, I think the feeling deep down inside is you want happiness for that person, but you wish that it could work, and that it could work with the two of you together. But if you're not happy and I can't make you happy, then find someone who can, and really mean that. That's the selfless person. you know, who can appreciate and understand that that's where you are in the relationship and he can't provide for you what you're looking for. You know, the selfish lover, significant other, whatever you want to call them, is the one who is like, I don't care, you know, I don't care how you feel, you know, I don't want you to be happy. I'm going to make your life miserable, you know. Um, but again, I think it can be that way on both sides. On both sides. Um, Andy said he was upfront about his feelings, which was good. Yeah, I think so too. And it might have been hurtful. You know, that might have been something that you didn't want to hear, and it might have been difficult to hear, but you know, it was good that he was honest with you. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Uh, Making him wait won't make him a better man. Ooh, let's see what this one says. If he's the wrong man, having a rule that says you won't have sex with him before X amount of days won't change him. At the end of the waiting period, he'll still be the same wrong man. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get comfortable here. He'll still be the same wrong man. Okay. Um, let's he elaborates a little bit on this. When he's wrong, he's wrong. Time won't magically make him right. All you will be doing is postponing your inevitable disappointment and heartbreak. Now, I'm not saying that um, you should rush into it either. What I'm saying is there is no set amount of time that will allow you to determine that man's worth. It's going to vary. However, the more time you give it, the more time you will have. Honey, you're in the mirror. I can see you. I know he didn't want to be on camera, so that's why I told him that. Yeah, I can see you in the mirror. Um, okay, so okay. However, the more time you give it, the more time you will have to evaluate whether or not he's someone you want to go to the next level with. Here are my thoughts, and when I say my thoughts, I'm talking about his thoughts. Okay, I'm reading the book. Be patient and go with your gut. You will know better based on how you feel rather than by the date is or what the date is. There's no guarantees in the end. Time won't change who he is. What do you guys think about that? What do you think? I I'm reading through this again. I I think it's true. I think it's true. If he's not the right man, then there's nothing, you can't change a man. A lot of women go into relationships thinking that they can um, change a person. You know, we all make that mistake from time to time, right? Um, but here's the thing, if it's not right when you decide to commit to that relationship and they're showing those signs of not being what you need them to be. And when I say you, I'm talking to men and women. Okay. I know. And even this book, Reflections of a Man, he does say that, you know, he's speaking to both men and women, you know, the man to try and, you know, equip them with information as far as how women feel, but also women, you know, to know where a man's head is at, right? So we can look at this, you know, from both perspectives here. If it's the wrong person, it's the wrong person. You can't try and change me and make me, think the way that you think. And I can't change you, and we have to recognize that. So, let me read this again. If he's the wrong man, having a rule that says you won't have sex with him before X amount of days won't change him. At the end of the waiting period, he'll still be the same wrong man. So he's speaking to this from a physical intimacy standpoint. I still agree with that. What does intimacy have to do with changing a person? What if you're making him wait for that reason? Um, then that's the wrong reason. Like if you want to be intimate with someone, waiting, I think the waiting period is not to change the person or to see if the person changes. The waiting period is to really get to know this person, to determine whether or not he is the right person. Am I reading this wrong? Let me look at this again. When he's wrong, he's wrong. Time won't magically make him right. All you will be doing is postponing your inevitable disappointment and heartbreak. Agreed. Um, Now, I'm not saying that you should rush into it either. What I'm saying is there's no set amount of time that will allow you to determine that man's worth. But I don't think does worth have something to do with it? It will vary. However, the more time you give it, the more time you will have to evaluate whether or not he's someone you want to go to the next level with. Okay, so that I agree with that. Be patient and go with your gut. You will know better based on how you feel rather than what the date is. Just know there's no guarantees, and in the end, time won't change who he is. So, all right, so I have a better understanding. This confused me as far as the number of days. Yeah, there is no set time frame for when you want to be intimate with a person. It really truly does depend upon how you're feeling, you know, and what your, I hate to use the word morals and values because it's really not about that, but because the way you value yourself has nothing to do with the time period of when you want to be intimate with someone when you are an adult. Okay, I want to make that clear. With young people, we always say, take your time, make sure he's the right one before, you get involved with someone. But what we're really saying is take time to get to know the person, because when you add a physical, intimate relationship, it does add a whole level of emotion to the relationship, you know. Um, it, Things get real muddy. The water gets real muddy when you become intimate with someone. It does. It really does. So it goes back to what he was saying about the control, right? The control. You are able to easily control your emotions and feelings when there's no intimacy involved. So I think that's where he's going with it. Okay, anything else? You guys are just listening to me today, huh? Nobody's talking. Okay, well, I'll keep talking. I'll keep talking until 9 o'clock. All right. Okay. A man that just takes. Here's where we are in the book. A man that just takes. In a relationship, you can never give enough to a man who is willing to take everything from you. In a relationship, you can never give enough to a man who is willing to take everything from you. I think that's self-explanatory, but let's see if he has anything else to say here. Okay. He says some men are just takers. They don't understand that a relationship is about giving and taking. It's about balance. To these men, it's always about them. Being able to compromise in the name of moving the relationship forward is a concept that they cannot grasp. It's this type of man who, after you've done everything for him, still comes to the door of the relationship with his hand out expecting more. Then he has the audacity to try and make you feel bad when you finally say enough. Is that not narcissist behavior? That's the word I think of when I read this. A narcissist, right? Because that's exactly what it is, you know? And a lot of times, people look at this as like taking something concrete or physically taking something from you, you know? This happens a lot mentally and emotionally, you know? And I do believe that there are some men who don't even realize that they do it. They don't even realize that they do it. And also for the females, it really depends on how you go into the relationship. If you are a giver, if you are a giver and you give and give and give and you go into the relationship with there not being any boundaries on what you give, they're going to take. They're going to take. Matt and I have this conversation all the time, not about this in particular, but um, we talk about it from a professional standpoint. Because I'm a giver. I'm a giver of my time. I'm a giver of my energy. I will give financially. When I don't have, I'm just a giver. And there are people out there who will take, and take, and take. And if you don't set boundaries of what you're willing to give in the relationship, there are people, users and abusers out there who will continue to take, and get mad. Honey, I think this bed is getting ready to go again. I don't know whether we have too much weight on it or what. But sorry guys. But they there are people out there who will continue to take from you as long as you're willing to give. And when you do put your foot down, sometimes the relationship ends. If you don't give them what they're looking for, sometimes the relationship will end. And that's really unfair. But I think, this is a fair statement in relationships and love. I think that it is. Okay, Dee Dee, you said you're at work, but you're listening. Okay, good. I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad you're still here. Okay, anybody else have anything else to say about that? I feel like I'm going to fall into this bed, guys. I really do. All right, so okay, let's look at one more, and then we're gonna close for today. When he wants to change who you are. All right. So here's this quote. Any man who makes you feel as if you have to change who you are as a person to be with him is a man that will leave you as soon as he meets the woman he's trying to make you out to be. Ooh. That's good. All right, so let's read on. For the most part, most men have an idea of what they want in a woman from the very beginning. In his mind, he already has a picture of what she should look like and what qualities he would like her to possess. With that in mind, if he's trying to change you, what are the chances of him leaving you if he ever meets someone that fits that picture in his head? Just something for you to think about before you put yourself in this type of situation. Any man who makes you feel as if you have to change who you are as a person to be with him is a man that will leave you as soon as he meets the woman he's trying to make you out to be. Okay, I think I'll agree with that as well. Because what he says is, who makes you feel as if you have to change who you are. So if he cannot accept you for the person that you are and what you bring to the relationship, and he is constantly trying to make you the person he wants you to be, and you can't conform because we are who we are, right? Then I agree that, when he or she, for that matter, finds someone that fits the bill, that fits that perfect picture, that they will leave you. And here's what I think about people who are like that is that because no one is perfect, there is not one person that's going to meet every specific detail, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever the case may be. There's not one person who is going to meet all the criteria, right? So that person who is not willing to accept you who you are and is constantly trying to change you will be that way in every single relationship that he or she is in, because they're never going to be satisfied with who you are and what you bring to the table. Never. um Andy says, tell Matt to sit on the other side of the bed to balance it out. um and then Trina says, I'm still live. Yes, I'm still live. I'm still live here in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania is where I'm at today for the weekend. I'll be here for the weekend. Okay, Dee Dee says, I'm on the edge with that. Some women like the idea of someone taking care of them. In return, she becomes what he wants. He only leaves when she no longer follows his script. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's an interesting perspective. Um, I'm on the edge with that. Some women like the idea of someone taking care of them. He only leaves, or in return, she becomes what he wants. He only leaves when she no longer follows his script. Dee Dee, let me ask you this question though. If, let's just say in that scenario, the woman does everything that she can to follow that script, to be the person that he wants her to be. All right. But if that's not who you are, eventually it's going to become more difficult to continue to be that person, because again, we are who we are, right? So what you're saying is, okay, she becomes what he wants. Does she really, though? I think she makes an effort. I think she makes an effort to become what he wants, right? And then what happens is, the act, which is what it is, that balancing act is over. She can no longer do it. And that's when he leaves or she leaves, if we're talking about a guy or a girl, whoever we're talking about. So I see where you're going with that, and from that perspective, I do agree with the little tweaking of that, which is, she tries to become or he tries to become, because it's hard to change, who you are as a person. We are who we are, right? Trina says, hey, Matt. Andy says, sometimes they go looking for greener pastures, then realize that they should have stayed where they were. Yeah, grass is not always greener on the other side. That's for sure. Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. People always try to find what they're looking for someone else, and then they realize, but sometimes it's too late. Sometimes it's too late. Um, Dee Dee says that's where the saying comes in. She will lose herself to be what he wants. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And we do that a lot. We do that a lot because we want to please, we do. And so we try. We give our best effort, and then sometimes it's not enough, you know? And those who are the takers, the narcissists, right? They are okay with, I'm trying to get this light out of my eyes, guys. Um, these accommodations aren't the best here. Um, I just lost my train of thought. The takers, oh God, guys, where was I going with this? She will lose herself to be what he wants because she's a giver. She's a giver, so she will. Um, and they will take as long as they can take. And then when they realize, that you can't give them what they want, and they will try to change you, they will try to take what they can from you. Because we're givers, we will continue to try and give, and they will continue to try and take. They will. Until there's nothing left to give, and then all of a sudden you come to a fork in the road in your relationship. So yeah, I understand. Um, Dee Dee says lose. I don't know. I don't know what you were saying there, Dee. Sorry. He says, I did that before and that does not work because I am a lion in the den. She's right. She just fakes until she breaks. I'm a lion in the den. What do you mean by that, Trina? I'm a lion in the den. First of all, you're a lioness, right? But a lion in the den. Explain that. Okay, that's where the control comes in. Yes. Um, Girl, I don't even know where you're going with this stuff. My man wants to be Mother Teresa. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means, Trina. She said, my man wants to be Mother Teresa, but I am Bob the Builder. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, guys, it's 8:59. Trina, thank you for the comedy. I'm still trying to figure out where you were going with that. Dee Dee, thank you. Andy, thank you. Thank you guys so much for your engagement and participation. We had a few people on the line here, it looks like, but I appreciate those of you who engage and participate. Dee Dee has one more comment before we go. Older men do this to younger women to have control, and they just think as long as he buys what she wants. I mean, look, they have those websites out there, sugar daddies. A lot of times, young women do put themselves in that situation where they're trying to get something, they're trying to get ahead in life, they're trying, they want to do something, and they think that the money, I can be what you want me to be as long as you pay me for it. um and we all know the underlying of that thought process. I don't have to say it. um Trina says, uh I wear the pants, he wears the dress. Oh, okay. Okay. um all right, guys. Well, it is 9 o'clock, so this was good. This was really good. We will continue tomorrow. I need to look at the schedule for the softball games tomorrow. So there's a possibility that I may have to cancel because I don't know what time we have to be at the fields. But um, but if not, I will see you tomorrow, live here, 8 o'clock in the morning. Happy early Fourth. Um, and thanks for joining today. I appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow. So, there we go. Whoops, is it? There we go. Come on. I don't know why it won't end. Hmm. All right, guys. Sorry, it doesn't want to. It doesn't want to end. So I'm gonna have to shut down Facebook.